All right, Year 11, we have 24 hours until your English Literature Paper 1 on drama and prose. Here are a few last-minute tips for your revision. Just a quick reminder of the details of the paper. It's 1 hour and 45 minutes. After today's language paper, that'll seem really short. It's 2 sections. You'll have a question on characters and a question on themes for both the drama and the prose, but you only answer 1 question on each text. Remember, most important thing, this is a closed book exam. You will not have a book with you. Hopefully by now you have memorized some key quotes. So you'll have 50 minutes to answer a question on drama. That'll be View from the Bridge or Inspector Calls for most of our groups. And then you have 50 minutes to answer a question on prose. Key words, you must know these things about the plays. Here's what you need to revise, and about the book as well. Characterization, themes, plot, and setting. All of those are key for both parts of the exam. Right, let's talk about your timing. Just like you've done for your English language exam, you need to write down your projected finishing time once you start the exam. So you have 50 minutes for each section. There will not be anyone telling you to move on to the next section. So let's say that your exam begins at 1 o'clock. Write down 1:50 to remind yourself that you need to move on to the next section. So take 10 minutes to plan, 30 to 35 minutes to write, 5 to 10 minutes to check. Same thing for section B, which will be of mice and men for most of you. So you have 10 minutes to plan, 35 minutes to write, 5 to 10 minutes to edit and check. Let's look at the questions from January 2013. Most of you have seen these before. So you find whichever play you've studied. In my student's case, it was View from the Bridge. So you have 1 question that you're going to answer. You choose either the character question, Eddie breaks all the rules, how far do you agree, or you answer the theme question, in what ways is the theme of community explored in the play? Obviously, these will not be the questions tomorrow. If I knew the questions, I would want to tell you. Right. Inspector Calls questions, January 2013, focused on Eva Smith, Daisy Renton. And then the theme question is quite interesting. How does Priestley show the difference in attitudes between older and younger generations? That is a theme, and they've just worded it a bit differently. How does Priestley show? The of mice and men questions, Curly's wife and 1 other character in the novel affected by prejudice. Very important that you would write about 2 characters if you get a question similar to that. What about the themes of the novel continue to attract readers? This was tricky, and it tricked some Year 11 students because they wanted to write about the context of the book, the American dream, blah, blah, blah. You don't need to do that. Make sure you just focus on characterization, plot, setting, and themes. Right, here is how you are going to be marked. Now, to get a C, you need to fall into this level. To get a B, roughly this level, an A, and then this is A and A star. You need to know the text very, very well. You comment about how the writer has used characterization and or theme and or plot and or setting and how this makes the reader feel. Remember, affect is how it makes the reader feel or what it makes them think about. Don't just say that this affects the reader. Well, la-di-da, you got to tell us how it affects the reader. Maybe it makes us sad, maybe it makes us angry, maybe it makes us happy. Choose one of those effects. Right, also get marked on making sure that the examples you use are relevant. So the examples would be the quotes that you've memorized and also paraphrasing what has happened in the book. Now, if you get asked a question where you have to talk about 2 things, for example, that question from January that asked about Curly's wife and 1 other character, your essay needs to be balanced. So you would need to spend half your essay on the first character and half on the second. Right, the question will probably say, how far do you agree? This could be a theme question or a character question. For example, how far do you agree that the theme of community is the most important theme in A View from the Bridge, for example? In your very short introduction, you just want to agree or disagree, but don't use I. So you're going to just say the theme of community is the most important theme, or the theme of community is not the most important theme. Then, the rest of your essay, you have a paragraph on your first reason supporting your point, 1 on your second, 1 on your third, and then a conclusion. Now this is version 1. Some of you have learned to plan in a different way. This is a more difficult way if you look at version 2 of planning. This is how you get your higher marks. So you do the same thing in your introduction. You agree or disagree with a statement, and after you give your own reasons, then you present the counter argument. okay? And then you slam it, you explain why they are wrong. So, for example, using the example of the theme of community is the most important theme in A View from the Bridge. My first reason, let's say, for example, is the theme of community is shown through Beatrice's loyalty. And I would talk a little bit about that. Then I would say, perhaps, however, Eddie's betrayal shows how this sense of community is not important. That's my counter-argument. I've offered the other side. Then the final sentence of that paragraph is going to slam that and say, however, loyalty is a key part of the novel, so therefore it is a key part of community, therefore community is the most important theme. That's what I mean by presenting your arguments, then your counter-arguments, and then slamming it. And then if you have time, a brief conclusion. Do not panic, Year 11, if you don't have time for a conclusion, okay? Make sure that you have spent 50 minutes on the first section and then go on to the next. Right. Your question might say something like, in what ways does the theme of friendship is shown through Of Mice and Men, for example? Now, in what ways means which characters, which bits of the plot, how does the setting illustrate that theme? So, if you think about the theme of community in View from the Bridge, here's a sample one-sentence introduction. That's all you need to do. Miller shows the theme of community in the play through his utilization of three characters and key moments of the plot: Eddie's betrayal, Rodolfo's longing, and Beatrice's loyalty. Okay? Now, then the rest of my essay, I'm going to have a section on Eddie, I'm going to have a section on Rodolfo, I'm going to have a section on Beatrice. I've set that up quite nicely in the introduction, and then the conclusion. Right, so here's how I would revise. Give me a high five for revision. We're so excited. Whoops, sorry, got overexcited there. Okay, I would revise by creating something like this. Think about all the themes in your play, whether it be View from the Bridge or Inspector Calls. Write down one theme here, and then write down which characters show the theme. Write down the key moments of the plot that show the theme. Write down, if you can think of how the setting connects to the theme. For example, and then you do this for the novel as well, for Of Mice and Men. So if the theme is loneliness, it's shown through the characters of Curly's wife, Crooks, Candy, for example. It's shown through these moments of the plot. Curly's wife wanting to talk to anything that moves. Crooks in the barn on his own. Now that connects to setting. You see how the setting illustrates the theme of loneliness. So to revise, I would just fill out one of these for each theme of your works. Now, to revise characters, what I've taught my group is to come up with a characterization grid. So you have your character in the middle, the lovely Slim here. Then you think about these four elements. These are the four elements for how an author creates a character. They're key actions in the book, okay? The appearance. Sometimes this one's really important, sometimes it's not. Dialogue, key quotes that you've memorized from Slim. Okay? Dialogue can also be what the author says about them or how the author describes them. So, for example, when they say that he's the prince of the ranch. And then you think about what other characters say about Slim. Remember, towards the beginning of the book, when Candy first meets George and Lenny, and he's talking about Slim, he speaks very highly of him. So that would be an example of a quote that you could put in this section. Fill this out for your characters. You'll be ready to go. Now, as I've said about a million times to my class, you must have key quotes from the play and from the book memorized. Here are a few examples from View from the Bridge. Now, you'll see the link on the bottom of the screen. That's where I got these from. If you type that in, or you just Google View from the Bridge key quotes, Inspector Calls key quotes, Of Mice and Men key quotes, you'll have some and they'll come up. You need to memorize some of these. Right, Year 11, you are ready. We are proud of you. Do really well tomorrow. Best of luck. See you later.